All right. You got an awesome topic for today, dude.
Yeah, it's going to
All
be
right.
interesting.
Yeah, you passed that by. You gave me the text and it totally coincided with everything that I've been some events like just recently with me. So, all
Yeah.
right, I think we're streaming. Let me verify over here, YouTube, and we're good there. And we're golden. So awesome. Let me make sure we got everybody here. So, yes, people joining in. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining our weekly Coherence Meditation. We are restreaming to YouTube and Facebook. Our main YouTube channel is over at YouTube at the Cosmic Gaia community. Our live is held over here on Zoom, and I think it's right here. This QR code is what is that QR code? I keep forgetting. Yeah, the YouTube channel, Cosmic Gaia Community. Over here, you can actually find the freedomsnap.org/Seth. That will actually link to um, any, well, the latest Zoom link, as well as a calendar edition you could put on your device and all that other good stuff. And join that newsletter over here, Freedom Snap. We do have some, as we've been saying the past couple of months, but more recently, it's come to a lot more fruition, put it that way. So the format of our coherence meditations, maybe the first 10, 15 minutes, we'll have an intro, brief discussion. We do encourage everybody to do this as a daily practice. Take a little time out each day and ask yourself, I'm awake. Now what, right?
That's right.
All right. And in case you're wondering, that I'm Awake Now What is also a Facebook group. So if you feel inclined, do join it right over there.
My
And
website too.
yes, and your website, I'mAwakeNowWhat.com. Are you officially publicizing that?
Just now is the first time.
Okay, guys. So if you're
It's not
experiencing
done,
any
but
issues,
that's fine.
be patient. Okay.
That's
We do have Freedom Snap actually on the back end. There are a lot of awesome, cool things that I've just recently um, been chatting about with some other people, and that's still in the works. But this is a great, great, great stepping stone that we're going to be doing. It's going to be an awesome media type presence for the website. So we had last week's title, which was the journey to self awareness, and then the title for this week is remembering who we are. And that was a great topic that um, you sent over. So as I'm coming up with email subjects, I had several of these. And before I actually tell you some of those, if anyone does have a topic in mind, do comment on the video. We'll take a look at the video, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, and that will give us some ideas for future topics. The topics are basically endless. We can go on and on about that. So as we were, as I was putting together the email topics for this, every one of these actually resonated with some recent events of my own, especially the past couple months. One was rediscover your purpose, unveiling the forgotten, the journey within. Here's a good one: remembering who we are, embrace your essence, illuminating self-discovery, awakening to purpose beyond the veil. That's an okay one, right? Reclaim your truth, dive deep within. So when Seth sent me the body for the email to go to send to everybody, I resonated with that perfectly today. What perfect timing, dude? Because today I actually made a very huge decision in kind of my more, my professional life, and the way that I've been studying all this stuff like for years and years, probably going on 20 years and everything, but really like, remembering who we are, what we are actually put on this earth for, what we have, like we say, what makes this heart beat, right? What are we here for? Okay. Am I here to really work, and feed those private bankers. And in case anybody didn't know, those Federal Reserve notes are just basically all debt money anyway. So realistically, every single hour that I put in, I'm feeding private bankers. They're the ones at the top of the pyramid. They're the ones getting wealthy. But so I made a huge decision today that I actually handed over a couple of my projects to another IT consultant, and that it frees me up to do the very important things which will actually make a difference in this world. And I am very excited to finally get going on a lot of things. And I just was looking forward to this meditation today, Seth. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to hand it off to Seth, but go ahead, get comfortable, get some water, turn up your
Hold on,
speakers.
give
I
me
actually
one
use
minute
these.
here.
I use little speakers. I actually do some frequency, some sounds while I'm actually going through pretty deep. So actually helps. So what's new? Off to you, Seth.
Thank you, Greg. Sorry, buddy. I'm trying to set I have a little heater here that heats it up when I get cold.
It's got to be freezing up there right now, huh?
Well, it's weird. It's like winter never came up here. It was fall, autumn, and then it was supposed to be winter, but it kind of went into spring. So it was like autumn into spring, skipping winter. Really weird. I've never seen that in this region where I am, and I've been here my whole life.
Come out
So,
to
but yeah,
Phoenix. Come
it
out to
does.
Phoenix. You got a place to stay here.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to turn this thing on.
And the pools are
Oh, there it
warming
is.
up.
Perfect. Here we go. So this is a really good topic because I know everybody who is here has probably done a lot of self-analysis, a lot of honest internal questioning of what the point of all of this is. Because so many of us feel that there is something way greater happening, but yet the flow of our species doesn't really seem to go with it. Now, at a much deeper level, it is going with it. It's all different circumstances that are really hard to understand in our common conditioned thought form. So it's hard to really have a deep experiential awareness about why everything that happens in society and in our lives is actually an opportunity for us to really become conscious and grow from the essence of what we all know we truly are, the soul, this literal energy, this frequency-based, miraculous, highly intelligent energy that we all are and that everything is. And when you begin to have more experiences of this, you're just going about your day, you're doing whatever you're doing, and then you feel like, wait a minute, it's almost like deja vu or déjà vu, which is supposed to be the opposite of deja vu. All these different experiences and all these things begin to happen, and you almost tune into it. You're feeling something way deeper, almost like communicating to you, and you give it attention, and you're starting this relationship with it where this person that you've unknowingly conditioned to be because of the world needs us to be that way, needs us for so many different reasons, not just as slaves, not just as, cattle. It needs us because by remembering what is deep down in all of us is what it's going to take to remember, to embody, and to emit this thing that we're talking about, this energy. And this is the energy of eternity, of God, of reality. And every one of us, if we have a heart in our chest that's beating, we have a brain in our head to think, and the rest of our body is, somewhat together, we can begin to tune in to this information, this life force that is literally interwoven with every single part of our physical and non-physical being. And when we start to get out of who we think we are, this like short, and we talked about this last week. So we're all babies, right? We didn't know our name. We didn't have any of that understanding based upon the languages and way we perceive reality in this world. That wasn't there yet, but something was there. There was awareness. It was there, but it didn't have the sensory imprints of, I guess you'd say, our addiction to who we believe ourselves to be, according to the way the world has taught us we're supposed to be. And so in these moments of our life, when we begin to have these feelings, we're like, oh, we just want to search it. We want to connect deeper to it. And sometimes we can, and sometimes it's really difficult because a lot of people in this world, the same thing's happening inside of them, but a lot of them don't want to know. And I've had a lot of experience with this, you know. I've been in situations where all these downloads of information just start coming through, and an individual who's suffering, who at first wants to create the kinds of internal changes so they don't suffer as much, when they begin to hear this, when they begin to perceive it, and when they recognize that, yeah, we're reflecting all this stuff back and forth to each other, but you got to do it. I got to do it. We do the inner work or we don't. And I've seen so many people who want to, but then they just don't want to, because this addiction of who we think we are based upon what the world has taught us is embedded so deep in our awareness that to go outside of that at all feels like we're going against the flow. And in a way, we are when it comes to human civilization. But as you all here know, in the work we've been doing, there's something way greater happening in this world. And all the things that humans and their frequencies and all these broken systems of the weak, you could say, words, belief systems made by greedy men a long, long time ago to keep us in line. We don't have to do that. And people get afraid because that's the known. You know, if you like make a perfect case of like, okay, your life, you're dragging all this baggage behind you and you want to change, but then at some point you don't want to. And so all of us here, we want to change because being addicted to all these different thought forms that are so limiting, that keep us, we're not even in our whole bodies, much less feeling connected to the universe. But Greg and I were just talking about this before we went live. Now there's all these spiritual comedians coming out. It's like really starting to go into the mainstream. And I never thought that would happen. I think I told you guys last week, I just thought I was born at the wrong time. Like, but it's interesting because there's so much like Western or Americanized culture in awakening, right? And most of it comes from people who've read a whole bunch of books but haven't had the experiences. And so they sound like, whoa, wow, you know so much. But because they haven't had the direct experience, it sounds right, but there's something not quite there. But the fact that it's happening at all, even if everybody thinks it's all about the way you look, which my look, by the way, is a result of not really caring what I look like. So let's relax. And more of this is going to come out as we do this meditation. More information, more knowing. So wherever you are, just relax. Really, really, really relax. This energy that you are is fully connected to the innate intelligence of the most creative forces of reality. We already are that is connected to everything. And the only little faux pas or mistake or hiccup is that we've temporarily forgotten. But the beautiful thing about forgetting is it gives us an opportunity to begin remembering. And it's kind of like when you have a broken heart. It hurts so bad, but it's not physical pain necessarily. It's almost like an indescribable pain, but that hurts sometimes a lot worse than physical pain. Same thing could be said about this soul, this innate intelligence of reality that we all are, that everything is, and that we are all always connected to. And the only thing is just this appearance of being so trained to focus on me, what I want, according to the world's offering. Consumerism, belief structures, the sacrifice of true integrity to begin to adopt servile and slavish behaviors. And people have been doing this for so long that even when another way is presented, no matter how intrigued they are to listen or feel or know what these possibilities could be, it creates a quandary because the part of them knows there's something to it. If every bit of our DNA, every one of our cells, the entire code of the greatest creative forces of reality are right there in us all, for the most part, not activated. And so the less we feel like we need to continue going with the flow of our own individual life that has been conditioned by the world to appear a certain way, the more we begin to not be so attached to that, the easier it becomes to open up your awareness, all of this energy that is in the core of our being, causing all of these organs and glands and complex bodily systems to work, often in perfect coherence. But when we get stressed out, our energy of feeling stress and fear, over feeling it, actually prevents this innate intelligence of reality to do what it does best, which is connection. It knows what it's doing, but the driver at the helm of the ship, in the forehead of our minds, we get so stuck in that that our very bodies themselves begin to create this illusion, this appearance that we need things outside of us in order to live our life the way we're used to, the way that most do. Most don't even have any idea what their inner world is like until something happens. A really difficult situation, go through a car accident or some kind of accident where you get hurt and you realize you could have died. Or if we're stuck in this continuous repeating, skipping record stage of events that keep appearing in our lives. The circumstances, the people, and the situations might be different, but it is the same energy cycling through our perception of reality to the degree that we become addicted to it. Our body chemistry is addicted to who we think we are based upon what the world has taught us, the civilized world. It's teaching us not to focus on our own health and inner nature, and instead to think that health comes from somewhere outside of you. That doctors and healers, especially doctors that are really aligned with the current medical establishments, they try to act like they know our bodies better than we do. And because we have this illusion of not being connected to this infinite power that is literally one breath away, when those things happen, when we go through dark nights of the soul or dark nights of the ego, when we experience challenges, trials, tribulations that rock our boat, that cause us to almost jump out of our conditioned mind because we are traumatized. We feel pain. And sometimes when we jump out of who we think we are, accidentally or unintentionally, things begin to happen. The trauma or the difficult situation that we experience starts to invigorate a remembrance. You literally begin to sense new aspects of your life, of the life force that is allowing you to be alive. And quite often, when you jump out of your body or get shocked out of it, you are surrendering or sacrificing this conditioned routine belief system of a being so attached to all these words that literally create spells, but that ultimately have no power over us. That we, unknown and not willingly, we just give our attention to it because it seems normal. But when you have those moments, when you get out of your own way and you begin to feel this energy in a new way, images, visions, geometry, so many things begin to start to imprint our awareness. And beyond words, beyond thoughts, beyond belief systems, all of that information in our DNA and these dormant, atrophied muscles of perception start to turn on. And bit by bit, we discover that we have the ability to become aware of life, of this life force, in a way that is so powerful. And we begin to remember in those moments. And it's tears of joy, total epiphany. How could we ever forget what we really are? And then as soon as we move through that, we often forget all over again. And in that is the cosmic joke. But it's not really a joke. It's an opportunity that is being presented to every single one of us way before we ever begin to perceive ourselves on this limited, civilized state of being that isn't civilized at all. It can be really destructive. But also, we don't need to go through trials and tribulations. We don't have to learn through pain. In fact, we can do the exact opposite. Learn through pleasure. We can learn through our love of life. And the time to pray to God or the universe or whatever that represents to you. The time to pray and connect to it is when things are going amazing. Most people don't do that unless they're struggling. And when they're not struggling, they forget about it. And so by becoming more and more aware of where our disconnect is, putting a smile on your face, the flick of the switch of your love light, your smile turns on your self-love, and you can keep it on forever. but you don't need to, because once you exercise that single power, just little reminders all day, smile and feel that feeling. And you keep doing it, and you keep forgetting. And then every time you forget, you remind yourself that you're going to keep remembering. And you do this almost like your life depended on it, but not in a stressful way. There is a force of nature that is already here. It is already everybody and everything. And look at the natural world around us. I think anybody paying attention to it would say that for the most part, all the different systems of the natural world are working together symbiotically. Entire forests, let's be real, entire planets and star systems, planets with mountains the size of this entire planet. Whether you know that or not doesn't matter, because reality is for real. And when we forget that, we go back into these states where we struggle and we suffer. But if we are able to feel the feelings we choose to feel and intentionally choose to sustain that, even in the midst of chaos, of trials, tribulations, when we can sustain that energy that we love when we are in creativity, that is us anchoring that energy into a level of density so thick and so deeply ingrained in its appearance, in its illusion of this power controlling force of reality that so many people are afraid of, and that they think humans with authority dictate and rule this world. And it's only on the surface that it's happening like that. Just beneath the surface and way out into the depths of the known and unknown universe, there's something else going on. And it's that same force that keeps natural ecosystems working in whatever way they're meant to. And then maybe a complex situation happens in a forest, and so it knows how to burn itself. And from the ashes, that are totally a part of a natural process of all different forms of elemental beings and entities, all working together in this harmony for the same cause, to create and know and experience everything that this unbridled creativity, this energy that is the force of nature, and that we are when we choose to be. So just slow your breathing. Relax your body from your head to your toes. Give yourself a pat on the shoulder. We are here together tonight because you, on some level, on a broad spectrum of different levels, you have a knowing and a feeling that you have a knowing, and you're ready to live attuned to that frequency, to what is actual reality. And so all the death, fire, pain, destructions, all the different forms of trying to capture our attention from the outside in to lead us away from where our power actually is. We do that by choice. We might not think that we are, but when we give importance and we place what we believe that importance to be outside of ourselves, we take this miracle spark of life that we are, and we take our energy out of where it actually is. But if we keep coming back to this perception that we all have, and to the energy of it that we all are, then we come back into alignment of this impossibly intelligent force of energy that we have the ability to influence our day-to-day life from the inside out instead of just from the outside in. And the more we do this, the more all of that information, those codes, those atrophied muscles of perception, that's us letting go, trusting, and choosing to be in harmony with what your life force is already doing, whether you are paying attention to it or not. And so then, who do we become if we are letting this core energy influence us? rather than allowing all of the authority figures of the world and all the trends and belief systems, all the predicted programming, all of the things that so many focus on so much that they take the power that is already within and around us, and we give it to people, places, and things that I think we could find a better place to put our attention. Why would we keep giving it away? So you're relaxed. You're breathing very slow, gently, a little deeper, and rhythmically. A whole bunch of information just came into your field of awareness, but you don't need to be conscious of it in the ways that you think. Beyond our regular modes of sensory, there are deeper modes of sensory potential that are forming just by us letting ourselves be aware of how this nervous system in our bodies knows exactly what to do. And the more that we let that happen, the more all of those new muscles of perception in different frequencies of perception, in colors beyond the color system we know, in sounds and frequencies that used to be inaudible. The more we pay attention to what it is that we come from, the source that is our life force, the more all of this begins to continue to lead us to where we all know we have the potential to be. And unless we are in a situation where our health or life could be tragic, yes, that's when we really want to be paying attention. And that's when it's healthy to be in a state of stress. But for most of us, luckily, and thank goodness, most of the things that we're worried about aren't really that big of a threat in our day-to-day and moment-to-moment lives. So when we acknowledge that and kind of gently and progressively let go of it, all of what is possible starts to ignite within and around you. just as this intelligence conducts itself with near perfection in our bodies, so too does it know how to create evolutionary responses in our being so that we can become more and more conscious of how deep and beautiful and powerful and with full possibility to create when we are focused on that. You begin to remember. And instead of these cycles of remembering and forgetting, at some point, by turning your switch of love on and off, at some point, when you practice that, you eventually, sooner rather than later, come to a new platform or a new plateau of sensory perception. And when we get to that plateau, the temporary amnesia that we all experience starts to dissipate. It's not being fed by the illusion that we unknowingly sustain. And when we hit those new plateaus, we are solidifying our state of being and our personality by bridging the conscious part of our awareness through the subconscious and even into the unconscious part of our perceptual knowingness. That's always been there, but that now we are remembering to the degree that it starts to get challenging to forget. And from that place of remembrance, our trust for this life force, for how it guides all these systems in our body, we trust it, and it begins to lead our life in this life in ways that we might not believe, because we have been so pitted against our own faith and trust and love for our life. But when that begins to become a regular experience, you develop a state of being that is also going to become more and more aware of all the energy and frequencies that have always been right there, that are suddenly beginning to influence the person you are. And it reinvigorates every part of everything you know, you love, and care about. But that maybe you think you're not giving enough attention because you're working. You have all kinds of obligations to fulfill. All the different stories we tell us, they have validity, they have purpose. But whether our eyes are opened or closed, we have the ability to live in a state of sustained harmony. And when you feel that love that you chose to feel, and you keep making a habit of it, once that habit sticks and it just becomes your nature, you will be able to see the world through new eyes, through different eyes, from connected parts of perceptual awareness, so intricately interwoven within themselves with geometries that seem impossible, but they are completely possible. And the more you begin to know yourself as this, the more you're going to want to continue to build this relationship. So you're breathing, you're relaxed, you're remembering that there is this beyond genius energy that you've never not been connected to it. It is there whether you're paying attention to it or not. And in paying attention, which is what we would do with any relationship that we cherish, when we nurture that relationship, it reciprocates and the relationship deepens. Without even thinking about it, just allow everything that we shared to just be the influence of the life force that's already causing your heart to beat. There's no thinking or anything like that involved. It's just a knowing. This is the greatest form of I love you. It's all an inside job. Tax-free, tons of incentive, so much wealth beyond the belief of what we think wealth is. There is a relieving force of life energy that we are consciously working with every day. And you get so in love with life that if something dramatic comes up, you just automatically remember, oh yeah, that's right. I do know. I know how to be at peace. I know how to be in love. And when you do that, anytime you experience adversity, just observe how what seemed like a threat suddenly isn't. When we are even slightly in tune with how powerful we actually are, then there is nothing in our way, and that energy makes itself known to everybody and everything around you, because you are choosing to anchor it. For everybody who wants to stay in a state of peace, you can push the leave button and continue to be at peace with yourself, with the source of your life force. And for those who want to be in a more awakened state, while at the same time keep this energy awareness in integrity, in alignment, so that all the veils of illusion lose their power, and that power goes back into you and this living ecosystem, this living artistic expression of infinite potentiality. That's when you love to live in this world and to be humbled by watching how your participation in it all inspires others. So when you're ready, you can rub your hands together, or you can just take your fingers and start at the top of your forehead and just tap gently down through your forehead, through your eyebrows, through the bridge of your nose, the rest of your nose, tap under your eyes, your cheeks, on your upper lip, under your nose, your jaws, chin, your neck, and the middle of your throat, your voice box. All the points of every organ and system in our body are all throughout our face. You can learn more about that. It's so incredible to tap those points regularly. And also, they're in your ears. All these points are in your hands and fingers and your feet and your toes. So giving all these parts of your body more attention by massage, it'll reinvigorate energy in your body. And please like, love, share, tag, help us get the word out there. We are honestly looking for that 100th monkey. And the 100th monkey gets a free pass. We don't know to what, but we will. Thank you, everybody. Greg, thank you. See you next week.
I will leave on one last closing remark, and it has relevance to actually what you said last week as far as harnessing that energy. Okay. And something just I was listening to, like we have seen more recently, more and more of these videos popping up all around YouTube. But one thing I was listening to last night, and I don't know if it's Albert Einstein or Sir Isaac Newton, but I'll quote Albert Einstein instead. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. So keep that in mind the rest of the week, guys. Figure out what you want to do with your energy. So thank you everyone for attending. Have a marvelous week, and we will see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.